great privilege of introducing Megan McCoy Jones. Megan is the fourth generation to work at McCoys. Her first job was at 10 years old, being a receptionist at the office. She has worked in many and served in many different roles in the office, and started her work in the field in one of our stores and retail stores. So Megan is, well, she is just a special person in my life. So now Megan is now our Executive Vice President and Chief Operations Officer of the company. Her passion for philanthropy, preservation, and
I broke my ankle a few weeks ago. It's a total drag. So thank you for the help, Ken. Hey, welcome to McCoys. We are thrilled that you came. I know you did not come to hear us talk, but I got to just give you a few seconds about our history and our connection to Magnolia, which has been for almost 10 years. It's almost our 10th anniversary of doing business with Magnolia Homes. Hi. Wonderful.
Megan is always adorable. I love your jeans.
Oh, okay.
I don't know how you get in those and the broken ankle simultaneously, but that's amazing. All right, she's saying that McCoys has been around for 90 years. So when Megan, think about it, in 10 years, when Megan turns 34, right? McCoys will be 100 years old. What an accomplishment. Well, thank you all for having me. This is exciting. This is our local spot. I mean, this is home. This is home. So it's usually we're bouncing around the planet doing these kind of services, and you always feel a little homesick. You know, we've got 4 babies at the house, and we love it when we can do these things in our backyard. So we understand everybody here Wacoans? Everybody from Waco? Oh,
Yeah.
You out of towners? One.
We're out of town.
What? Who's not a Wacoan? Raise your hand. What is going on? So anyway, I was going to go on and on about my hometown, but I don't want to bore you out of towners with all those details. Well, we love Waco. We stayed here on purpose. Is this thing sounding okay? I feel like it's barking at you. Okay, excuse me. But anyway, stayed in town on purpose. Had the opportunity when Joe and I both graduated from Baylor years and years ago to kind of do what was typical, was the norm back in those days. You'd graduate from a university, and then you'd go to a bigger town and find a big, high-paying job. And Joe and I both wanted to stay in town, and we're so thankful for that decision so many years ago. It was really risky. Got a book out that talks about smart things that have happened to me by doing stupid things, and that was kind of an example of that. You know, it seemed like an illogical move at the time. My folks were up in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Hers were from the Austin area, but had located to Waco. And so, you know, it's just the smart thing to do, to go move to Houston or Dallas, Austin, one of these big towns, and start our career. So for us to have stayed here in a much smaller market was a bit of a risk for us. And then when the show came online, I'm going to tell you a quick behind the scenes story about Fixer Upper. When they found us, they said, listen, we want you to do a couple of houses in Waco, but we're quickly going to need you to start doing stuff in Dallas and Austin. And we thought about it, and it wasn't an insult to us. I mean, my folks live in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. She had come from the Austin, Round Rock area. And you know, it's not a disservice to us to think about doing projects in Dallas or Austin. It was just as we were, especially back then, we had these 4 itty-bitty babies in tow, 2 of which you literally had to carry if you went anywhere with them. And I was like, how is this going to work? And it seems like we're going to be away from the family or away from the house for just weeks on end. And so we honestly just prayed about it, and we felt pretty definitive that God told us that wasn't for us, that we weren't going to do the travel around the country and do projects elsewhere kind of a model. And so we told him that, and we honestly didn't realize it was a deal breaker. We thought they were just asking us to move to Dallas or Austin. Not literally move, but you know, to move the business in these different markets. And so we called back, like, yeah, you know, we thought about what you suggested, and we appreciate that. But you know, if we did 3 here in town and 3 in Waco and 3 in Austin, I don't know how we'd ever get home to see the kids. I don't know how that's going to work. And they were like, oh, we're sorry. Did that sound like a suggestion? We did not mean to have suggested that. We're telling you that you're going to have to do this in order for this to work. And again, unbeknownst to ourselves, we didn't realize that we were making the bluff of a lifetime. But, because I'm so stupid, I'm a little bullheaded. Megan and I have a little in common in that universe. So I said, look, this is the only way it's going to work for us. And they said, you can't get this many houses in Waco. It's just not going to work. Nobody's going to care about a project being done in town every single week. We need to change it up from a location standpoint. And we said, hey, we get it. We totally understand your perspective. But, that's a deal breaker from our perspective. So we're okay with whatever you decide. And for no reason, no logical explanation, they could have gone and found another couple willing to do those things. Maybe a couple with fewer kids. I have no idea, but it just so happened that about a week later, after they essentially told us, hey, this doesn't sound like it's going to work out, and we said, we understand, no hard feelings. They called back about a week later and were like, well, if you can find 13 of these units in Waco, Texas, then we'll let you stay home. So we did just that. We worked our tails off. We found about 8 or 9 projects pretty easily. This is actually, I'm going to chase 2 rabbits. I'm going to tell you another behind-the-scenes story. So we found our very first season 1 of Fixer Upper. We found about 8 projects pretty quickly. It was hey, we got this. This is going to be easy. So we get to 8, and then number 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. So we still got 5 units. Sorry, I had to do the math there. We had 5 units short. We could not find those last 5 units. So we limped along. We got a couple more units, and now we're at 11 or 12. We got a couple more units, now we're at like 11 or 12. And that 13th unit did not exist. We were talking our brother-in-laws into considering it. We were talking to people who didn't need a home renovation into considering doing these things. It was awful. We finally found this 13th unit. This lady, she's a veterinarian in town, still holds this major place in my heart, because I was like, Dr. Hendricks, I promise you, this is going to be great. You're going to love it, because nobody knew. Literally, we were having people hand us the keys to their project and leave the project for months at a time, and then us come back and ta-da. Well, it's easy now that you've seen what's happened. Everybody, we literally, this season, this was our 5th season, we had 113 applicants for 13 spots on Fixer Upper. So their universe has flipped on its ear. But all that to say, it was quite an experience, and one of those kind of faith journeys that you go on if you're trekking with me in that way, to where you wake up and you look back in the wake of all these things that God has done on your behalf, and you just stand back and marvel. And I'm a fairly arrogant guy, and I threw Megan under the bus a second ago about being strong-headed like me, where we are not similar. I'm a bit of an arrogant person by nature. I can be arrogant when left to my own devices. But, this is one of those that even I couldn't possibly take credit for as I look back in the wake of all these amazing miracles that have played out right before our eyes over the last few years. So just wanted to give you guys a little bit of the nuts and bolts, the behind-the-scenes stuff. So we'll get to it. We've got a little demo up here. Of course, a great product. I was really honored about a year ago when Kilz reached out to us, and Joe and I are both real particular about who we partner with. And if we don't use the product, if we couldn't literally stand behind it on our own projects, it's just not something that we're interested in endorsing anything that'll come our way. And Kilz is one of those products that has just been an amazing partner. So thankful for them. Decades ago, when nobody knew my name, literally Joe and I, with these 5-gallon buckets of Kilz, the thing that's so interesting, especially when you're in the flip business, which is where we started years and years ago. This stuff goes a long way. Anybody can attest to that. You walk into a project that just smells like the, godforsaken underbelly of a rotten animal that had been left for dead. I don't know. Is anybody can relate to that? But it was the very first project that Joe and I did together. She literally starts crying when we walked in the house. I was like, babe, welcome to my life. This is what I do for a living. We're going to have to get over these internal insecurities about smell. So we'd throw out this carpet and we'd Kilz the entire house. And then all of a sudden, literally, what felt like just instantly, things looked a little more positive. Things looked up from our perspective. So anyway, we were really honored here in the last year or so to partner with Kilz. And so thank you guys for letting us give you guys a quick demo.
All right.
All right.
Hands up.
He's gonna
I'm
yell.
Mike Mueller. I'm one of the natural trainers for Kilz, and it's always a pleasure to come work with Chip. We've done several projects together, and I know you're here to see him. and to take pictures and do all that. So we're going to do this very quickly, but you know, when you're doing a project, Chip, you've been doing this for a long time.
Sure. Yeah. Over 15 years. Yeah.
15 years.
Mostly here in town. A little bit of out of town work here recently, but 15 years in Waco, Texas.
Right. And as a builder, building new homes, commercial properties, whatever.
Yeah.
You know, what is really the most important part of that entire project?
That's an easy question. Can anybody? I'm going to pretend like I'm holding the mic. Anybody answer that? What's the most important part of a project when you're talking about construction?
Demo.
Well, demo's my All right, the foundation. The foundation is the most important part of the project.
That's exactly right. Any builder would tell you that. If you're not secure in a sound foundation first, a structure, doesn't matter how good you build that thing, if the foundation is right. There's no difference with the foundation for your paint project. Painting a room, painting a door, painting furniture, you need the foundation. That's what primers are for. Chip, I'm going to slip on this side.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Come
sir.
over on this side over here. Okay. As you can see, there's lots of different choices. And really, all the differences in the primers are they're designed to do specific things. So we'll look at a couple of those things. Something that Chip deals with all the time. We got a couple demonstration boards. How about some stains, water stains? Okay, so you got some water stains. What blocks that out? Well, one of the primers that we have, the Kilz Original. Kilz is coming up on 50 years in business here, and we're honored to have Chip as our spokesperson for Kilz Primers. Awesome. Here's our Kilz Original. This is one that's been around for 50 years, and contractors, like Chip was mentioning, they've been using this for the entire time. It's one of the go-to primers out there in the construction industry. And so most contractors very familiar with it and have used it a bunch. So as Chip rolls this out, what this is an oil-based. This is an oil-based primer, so it has a little bit of smell to it, so you want to be sure to wear like a respirator. You've got to use paint thinner to clean up. But boy, does this stuff work. It seals up a surface. Can anybody tell me why you need to seal up new drywall, let's say, before you put your paint on? So it doesn't soak into the wall. You're spending $30 a gallon for your paint. I don't want that paint to go in the wall. I want it to form a film on top to protect. So the Kilz primers now put a nice foundation down first to seal the drywall.